Afternoon everybody, this is Romero17 and I'm going to do a video on counter striking. So, a lot of times I've had a lot of people ask me, how exactly do you know when to hit these counter strikes that you tend to do? I do these on ranked, I do these on quick fight, I'll do it against my friend, I'll give everybody a little bit of everything. So, but there's certain reads that you have to make on your opponent before you can go willy-nilly with these counter strikes. So without further ado, I'm going to start out with my favorite one to do. And my first and foremost favorite counter strike, as everybody knows, is the front kick, aka the teep kick. Now, anytime anybody throws an out of range strike, the teep kick is a really good range finder. And it's a really good counter against the lead leg kick to overhand combo that a lot of people like to do, especially with the wrestlers in the game. So anytime they throw that lead leg kick to overhand, that's a way to close distance. Fire off a teep kick once that shot misses. Once that lead leg kick misses and you hit them with that teep kick, it's gonna rack up a good amount of damage. And if you're extremely lucky or you just have impeccable timing, you can get a really beautiful flash KO off of it. I'm gonna let you guys see it again.
Oh, this is my favorite one to do actually. Lead leg kick overhand. You miss the lead leg kick and then you go for the overhand.
Miss the lead leg kick, go for the teep kick.
Go for it again.
A lot of the Muay Thai guys tend to have the teep kick. Guys like Darren Till, guys like RDA. So if you like using the Brazilians or the Muay Thai guys, by all means, use the teep kick. Or funky guys like Sterling.
That's a good for overhand.
Now against guys who are overhand crazy, I know a lot of you Division 4 guys tend to struggle with the overhand guys. Very simple way to deal with them. If they're running at you with the overhand and they're extremely out of range, a good leg kick will do just enough to take out the leg at peak vulnerability. As you see right there.
Look at that.
And before you know it, fight's over. Now I got my buddy Heem the Dream here. He's gonna be helping me out with a few of these
Let's see, trying to think.
simulations here with missed strikes and whatnot. And missed strikes like this, like a missed head kick, they're easy to counter with overhands. Anytime I see a tendency for my opponent to throw out of range head kicks, I tend to go for an overhand. Now, a new thing that has been added into the game are the block counters. And for the block counter with the lead hook, how it works is if you're blocking and your opponent hits you on your lead side, so where your lead leg is, with a hook or an overhand, you can essentially fire off a free hook that can't be blocked, but it can be slipped. But it racks up a good amount of damage. So if your opponent's being really predictable with his hooks and overhands and whatnot, you can get some serious damage with these counter hooks. So I would definitely recommend that you get practicing, getting the hang of these block counters. Don't overdo them. Don't be too predictable with these block counters because they can be slipped. But when they're done correctly, they're absolutely devastating. They have also added block counters for like body shots. So the important thing here is just to make sure that when you counter, it's on the same side where the strike was blocked. So you're going to block it and then go for an uppercut for whatever side got hit. So whether it's the left side or the right side, you just have to make the adjustment and counter off to that side. See what the next clip is?
Block counters.
This clip here. This is something I call the Wombo Combo. Marshall calls it the Death Combo. This is the combo that a lot of pressure fighters use. And the block counter is actually really effective on the guys who start going jab, uppercut, hook, hook. I just started using it as of this week, and it's been absolutely disgusting on ranked for me. So again, if you pick up on a pattern where your opponent's going jab, uppercut, hook, hook, counter the final hook. Third hook if they're being predictable there. But it's very effective, and I'm very happy that they added that into the game. They keep going jab, uppercut, hook, hook. They're pressuring you, pressure. Boom, fire off that lead hook, and you'll be set, man. Now, for good players, eventually somebody's going to catch on. They're like, all right, this guy's block countering me. I'm just going to sway to strike. That's all good. All you got to do at this point is to start following up with straights after your opponent tries to back sway, or an uppercut if they're ducking. And the sway after the block counter would not be a problem, and they'll have to think twice about pressuring you. Otherwise, they're just going to get extremely hurt. Now, next clip I have is a fight on quick fight. I was hoping to run into somebody that was hook crazy like this guy, and I was able to land the block counters just to get it into my muscle memory. Now, Again, comes in with that crazy haymaker, goes for the jab, haymaker, and hit him with the block counter. Now another thing that I tend to look for are like little tells for when my opponent wants to go big or just go into step kick range. So anytime I see my opponent creating space like this guy did over here, I knew he was going to go for something like a head kick or a step in body kick. So keep that in mind when you want to throw your counter strikes. Those are the best opportunities to get those counter strikes in. Now, let's see. Right here I had Heem. I believe I had Heem throw a head kick and I ducked it. So if your opponent's being predictable with head kicks, you can duck them and fire off a really good overhand if your character has it, and get a really sick knockout that way. Also, when it comes to moving forward strikes, if you step back, take a minor lunge, step back, and then you plant your feet and go for a head kick or another big strike, you tend to catch them at peak vulnerability as they're trying to reset their feet after a move. Now right here, you see that Zabit is a little bit too tall for me. Therefore, and he's in the opposite stance, so I can't hit him with a lead high kick. That's fine. I'm just going to aim towards the open side. So keep that in mind when you're fighting a character that's a little bit taller than you. Now right here, I pick up on the nuances of my enemy over here trying to hit me with leg kicks, so I hit him with a lead high kick. Nothing too crazy. This is a counter I have with a question mark kick when I see my opponent abusing the pull counter, or just moving the head for no reason. They move their head every time after they throw a strike, trying to be a boxer, I guess. In there, it's fine. Catch somebody who's overdoing the pull counter, you can hit him with a question mark kick. Jab question mark kick works really well. Now, I think everybody knows about this counter. This is the slip straight. Now, you can use the slip straight. It's really effective, but you can also throw hooks. You can throw uppercuts from there. You can vary it from like the head to like the body. You slip. You don't have to counter off of every slip that you do. You can just use the slips defensively and wait for your opportunity to counter. If you try to force the counters, they're not likely to come, and you're very likely to get caught yourself. Now, if you want to be fancy, you can also just do a slip uppercut hook. Slip uppercut hooks works really well, especially against guys who are overdoing the uppercut or also doing the jab, and helps rack up a good amount of damage. Your opponent's firing off uppercuts. You can fire off with a slip uppercut, follow up with a hook or another uppercut yourself. Now, you can, instead of doing a slip straight to the head, if you want to work the body, a slip straight to the body works extremely well. May not seem like it early in the fight, but it does a really good amount of damage to their stamina, and it racks up damage against that liver. So keep that in mind. Hey, maybe you don't want to work the head so soon. You want to work the body to get that stamina advantage. You can switch it up and go for a slip lead uppercut to the body, works just as well, or a slip hook to the body. I don't judge, as long as it gets the job done. You got an opponent that's going with jab hooks. The ducking uppercut, still usable. Maybe not in the bobblehead fashion. Thank God I've never ever done it. But you can use the ducking uppercut for whenever you see somebody, getting a little bit jab hook happy. So keep that in mind. Now here I have Heem doing the jab, uppercut, hook, straight. So if your opponent's made reads on you trying to backslide a jab, uppercut, hook, as most pressure fighters do, slip the straight. Follow up with a slip uppercut hook. Again, you want to keep guys guessing. That's the most important thing. Keep your opponents guessing. Don't be predictable with your counters, but don't be afraid to counter them either. You got to pull the trigger. Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on your counters. Now, last thing right here, it's just little defensive stuff, If your opponent is being predictable with the combo, you don't have to fire back every time. Just slip. Slip. Keep your stamina and wait for your opportunity to strike. Now, I hope all you guys were able to pick up something from this video, maybe add it into your game. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you got any tips or anything that you like, let me know. Have a good night, everybody.